Oh, hello, hello. Welcome. I have been having some technical issues. So it's Yvonne here. Welcome to Monday Night Live for the 21st of March. I'm Yvonne. I am the founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures. And thank you for joining me on Monday Night Live. So we've been doing Monday Night Live for about 6 years now. I think it was, as I said last week, was Saturday, then Sunday, then Monday Night Live. If you are joining me live, please let me know if you're watching the live or watching the replay. I say this every week. If you can see me, that's great. I can't see you. So if you leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from, whether you're a member, whether this is your first time, or if you have any questions, and if you can hear me. I had some technical issues a little bit earlier, so I think Google must have had an update. Hi, Janet. Thank you for being first off the block and letting me know. That's awesome. So I have a lot to talk about tonight, not as in length, or dirty glasses too, but as in just things that have come across my desk this week that are really important things. So they are a couple of questions that, I talk to a lot of women who are over 50. I talk to a lot of women who generally have the same thoughts, concerns. Some are happy to voice it out in a group and they have the same aspirations and goals, and others are happy to just chat to me privately. So I'm going to share some of those. I won't be naming any names or anything like that. Just sharing some general thoughts, observations and comments, and I'd love your input as well. Let me check who's here. Hi, Andrea from Cinnamon Park. You can hear me. Hi, Desley. And hello, Roslyn, as well. So we're across the country, and hello, Annie, there as well. So we've got someone from every state. There's a few more people watching, not quite keen to put their name to a comment yet, but thank you for watching wherever you are. And like I said, if you agree, disagree, have a comment, want me to answer a question, please just fire away. This is what Monday Night Live is all about. So a couple of questions and comments and conversations I've had this week have been around I guess, Women's Fitness Adventures and what we do, the structure, how it all works in terms of when we go away on hikes or when we go on day hikes and what that means. Am I fit enough? And as women over 50, generally, you may not fit into this basket, but generally we have been nurturing and caring and rightly so, putting everybody, in that list above us for many, many years. And now it's time for us, and clean these glasses, and where do we start? So that's another conversation that I've had. And also, what's the difference between what you do, Yvonne, and what others do, or what I can do myself? And I think that's really important. I really want to explore that a little bit more. Lots of conversations this week around accountability, and I want to do this, but I wouldn't do this myself. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's unpack that. And what is transformation? What we think we're signing up for is actually not what we're signing up for. And I did touch on that a couple of weeks ago, and I would like to explore that a little bit more with your help and your comments as well, which I really value. So hello, Alison from Sydney. Hello, Honey from far north Queensland. I hope I've pronounced that right. Mandy from South Australia. We're all over the place. Kay from Munrooban. Janine, so lovely to have you here, Janine. It was nice to see you yesterday as well. Joe in Yamundi and Brodwin from Launceston. So I don't even really know where to start with the question. And hi, Susan from Newcastle. So I have been chatting with our Couch to Mountain applicants this week, which has just been so wonderful and so lovely, and really nice to hear so many individual stories. And, the common theme amongst all of our Couch to Mountain participants last year and this year has been around accountability and wanting to make a change and not really knowing where to start. Now, I know all of the people who have commented here are members, but if you're watching and you're not a member, or you are a member and you don't know what Couch to Mountain is, Couch to Mountain is my passion project that's been on on my mind for 5 years. It's finally realized last year and going again this year, where we remotely teach you wherever you live. We teach, train, and then take you on an adventure to the summit of Mount Kosciuszko. And that program is 6 months. And this is where, in terms of the context of everything I'm going to talk about, is where the value lies. So we can go and do anything on our own, and we can go and do that with a bunch of friends that we may or may not know particularly well. And that may be successful. It may fizzle out. It may, be reliant, and people have other things come up and stuff like that. But the value of this program, and the true value of the program, is not actually what I thought it would be. I thought it would be teaching and training and taking women on this adventure who, for whatever reason, had been unable to start. So that might have been never knowing how to start, or never having the time or the capacity to start. Work-life balance, as we know from Mandy's story, or Gwen transitioning to a different life stage, or Sue, just never being able to commit to a program and then realizing that this was the program that she wanted to commit to. But in all of the stories and all of the conversations that we've had, it's, from my perspective, the teach, train, and take was I guess the outcome. But the outcome of all of those who we've spoken to and everyone who has participated so far in the program is that it's actually the transformation that happens along the way. It's who we are becoming along the way. It's that taking that first step, that next step into some new lifestyle or new adventure or new journey, because we don't particularly, not that we don't want to stay where we are, but we're ready to move and open our thoughts, our hearts and our minds to something else. And I know a few of the people who are looking, or we've chatted to about Couch to Mountain, are actually on here tonight. So hello, Susan, hello, Patricia, and hello, Helen Marie. But one of the things that I was asked about this week, I received an email saying, your Couch to Mountain program, which we're fully upfront about the value of our Couch to Mountain program and the price as well, was, not in her budget. And that's fine. We're not in everybody's budget. And hi, Karen from Claremont. But what I can tell you, and I was just having this conversation with my family out there, is that when you come anywhere with us, and whether you're coming with us or whether you're choosing, and this is the guide, if you go onto the website, you can download the free guide, and these are the questions that we have in there for you to ask, whether you're coming with us or not, is that we want you to be successful. So and so do all of your friends when you go on things, but we are responsible for you. We want you to have a great time. We want you to have a great outcome. We make sure that you have done the training, that you understand what the training is, that you're working those particular muscles that support all the joints to minimize the falls, not that we anticipate you'll have any falls, because we've already covered that. We outline what it's going to be. We know where we're going. We know that we're not going to get lost. We have all the safety things. We have all the EPIRBs and the satellite phones and those sorts of things. And these are the things, regardless of whether you're coming with us on an adventure or not, that are really important. And, I don't know if you've seen that show, that Netflix show, A Million Little Things. It's fantastic, and I recommend everybody watch it. It's not about the one thing that happens at that time. It's about the preparation and all these little things that happen along the way that lead to the outcome. And that's our ethos. It's what's happening along the way. What are we teaching? What are we training? What are we taking? What are we imparting? What fitness are we giving you? What tips? What highlights? What what mindset, what things to look out for. Now, if this is resonating with you, or you think this is just crazy out there, then please let me know. But these are the questions that have come across my desk this week. How can I be accountable? I've tried gym things before. I've tried, joining different things. I really want to do this. My friends are too fit, or they're not interested. How can I be accountable? How can you make me accountable so that I will commit and I will stay for longer? So Mandy, I am just going to share, and hi Joanne from Culburra. Mandy says it's the transformation. I had never imagined where I'd be today since joining, and all the things I've learned that I use in my everyday life. My life has completely changed. And I think it's whether we get to that point where we want to make the change or not, that we actually step into either, and this is for anything in life, asking for help. And I know that was Gwen's thing, her, as much as we teach, trained, and took Gwen on the hike, her big thing on the Couch to Mountain was, I actually realized that what I needed to do was ask other women for help, which I know I'm not particularly good at. I don't know if anyone else is as well. So, the questions is, what's the difference between us and others? Well, we're a business. We are responsible for you. We want to make sure that everyone has a positive outcome, that you go on, whether it's online through our membership or whether that's on a day hike or an adventure or an online walk, that you understand the parameters of it, you understand where we're going, what this is all about, how your safety matters, how that the outcome that you have, we've thought about the end game before we start. We tell you, this track is going to be this surface. This is what you need to pack. So it's pretty much everything that, to me, as a woman over 50, is really important to me. I don't want to be left with surprises. I don't want to be questioning someone leading me. What am I going to be doing tonight? Not down to the detail of what am I eating, but what's my expectation? Is this going to meet my expectation? What are you doing about my safety? What do all those type of things? We've thought of all of that. And I guess that's the difference when people question me about what value Women's Fitness Adventures delivers. We deliver all of that value because we are a business and we are invested in the outcome of every single member and every single woman that comes in our community. And hi, Vanessa. So one of the things, my brother-in-law is visiting at the moment, and one of the things that he asked me was about Women's Fitness Adventures and what was I most proud of. And without a doubt, hands down, I would have to say, because we're turning 8 this year, that I am most proud of the impact that we, the leaders, and I have had on every single woman's life. So every woman who chooses to be involved in Women's Fitness Adventures and actively participates wherever you may live in the country, the impact that we have and will continue to have on your life if you participate will pay off for many, many years to come. That simple act of moving every day, of being connected and committed to a community, of speaking up, of valuing what you say, of you feeling confident to be able to say what you say, is the thing that I am most proud of. So the other questions I get is, am I fit enough? And how can I do this? I've never done this before. Can I do this? I might be in my 60s. I might be in my 70s. Can I do this? And the answer is yes. And we will work with you to make sure that you can do it. But the answer is yes to anything. It doesn't have to be the Women's Fitness Adventures thing that you're doing. The answer is yes to everything. So if you're sitting there and the world is now opening up and we're able to pretty much go wherever we want, and hey, I heard cruising, and Brisbane, where I live, is going to be the first port, I think, in Australia to resume cruising. Now that not that I'm a cruiser, now that all of that is opening up, the world is our oyster. And if you have that yearn to expand your horizons and do more, then it's all about making sure that you get that mindset, that you get the fitness, that you get the the mindset, the fitness, the gear and equipment. You get all that stuff up front because you are your best investment. And if you're investing in this hike or this walk or this travel journey or wherever you might be going, to know all those parameters, to be as fit and as comfortable and as safe as you possibly can in so many respects. Safe here, preserving our mental health, safe knowing in your heart that you're physically capable of doing what you're doing, and safe that whoever you're going with is actually looking out for your best interests as well. So let me just check in on some comments here. Everyone's really quiet. There's not many comments happening. So please comment away. So Cindy says, I have a reason to be proud. Oh, thank you, Cindy. You're changing many, many people's lives for the better. I know. And it's taken me a long there you go. I just shot myself in the foot. I know. It has taken me a long time to sit back because I'm so focused on let's move on to the next project, to sit back and actually know the impact that I've had. And I know that we have worked with or certainly our Couch to Mountain, and changed so many lives. We changed the lives of 14 women in the last 6 months just through that program. We and whether that was in medications, whether that was in a purpose, sense of purpose, in friendships, in outlook, in work-life balance, in weight loss, through just having a goal. But I know that I have, over the 8 years, many friendship groups have been formed from people who came to us, ladies who came to us, who had tried gyms, who had tried a whole lot of other things, and we're looking for friendship. And no one wants to admit that we're lonely. And in fact, one of our biggest Sunday night or Monday night lives that was watched was how to find friends and make friends when you're over 50. So, I am most proud of the physical and emotional changes that I've been able to help women with over the many years. Susan says, Couch to Mountain program covers not just your fitness training, but also what hiking gear is needed and what best suits you and the location of your hike. Yvonne and Jane have so much knowledge, and there's no such thing as a silly question. Absolutely. There is no such thing as a silly question, because silly questions get us into trouble. If we don't ask the question, if we go off with a bunch of friends and go, okay, do I need to pack more water than a water bottle? That is not a silly question. If you assume, and then something happens, and certainly the book we read at book club, which was Things I Learned from Falling, she didn't have enough water, didn't think it would happen to her. Just those sorts of things. By the way, if you're interested in the Couch to Mountain program, we are still taking applications. They will close in a couple of weeks. So just drop a note in here that you're interested in Couch to Mountain. But one of the biggest things that came across my desk this week is accountability. And, I used to own a gym, and I used to be the marketing director for a global female fitness chain, thousands and thousands of gyms across the world. And one of the things I found was there's very few of us, once we get over the age of 50, that can actually commit to showing up to a gym 3 times a week. I have nothing against gyms. I go to my gym. I love my gym. I go there to build my muscle strength, to protect my joints, so I can continue to do what I love every single day. But because as women, we tend to just pop everybody else, in that list above us, and we get to a certain point and we go, okay, I need to breathe as well and find time for me, that it's hard to be accountable to ourselves. So when you can find an accountability person, it starts to make all the difference to what you're trying to achieve. And this is not just in our fitness or in our hiking life. This is in our everyday life as well. And I know, Cindy, you hold me accountable on quite a few things, and some other people in my life hold me accountable to things as well. And, that's why a lot of successful business people have mentors. That's why a lot of, the weight loss companies have check-ins and stuff like that, is because when we measure, or when we're accountable to someone and we start to get results, we start to repeat that pattern of behavior over and over again. So accountability is really important. And if you find that you're not one that has great accountability, or you want to make a change and that change is, or you want to try something new and that change is too far out from what you normally do, then you need someone to baby step all the way. And baby step is not, it's not a condescending term. Baby steps is because we can't know everything. And when we're just starting out, when someone shares with us what the next step is and the next step, all of a sudden we've made great leaps. I belong to this group. We meet, they're all over the world. We meet every Wednesday morning at 8:00 online. And one of the things we do every week is say, before we finish, it's for business, what my next tiny step is. What is my next tiny step that I am taking on whatever project I choose? And all it is, it might be to open the email and read about X. So if I take that very first thing, that very next step, opening that email may lead to the next step and the next step and the next step. But if I don't take that very first step, I'm not ever going to progress that forward. So if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I want to do something in my life, I'm going to use hiking because that's my world. is that, and say you're a member or you're not a member, I want to get into hiking. And my very tiny next step would be maybe to open the link to join the membership. Or it might be, if you're a member, to watch the masterclass on boots. Or another analogy would be, I want to go traveling on a plane this year, but my tummy gets upset. My next tiny step would be open the masterclass on how to tame tummy troubles. So that accountability to ourselves of taking a tiny next step, and that accountability to someone else, and all of a sudden, we talk about this often, is we look back, we connect those dots backwards, that we've actually made a great journey, but we don't see it. It's like watching, well, when you're not around kids for a long time, and then you come back into the kid's life and the kid's 2 foot taller. We don't see it every day till we can step back and look at where we've come from. And I know some of our Monday Hike About ladies, it's a program we run on a Monday in Brisbane, which is a hike training program. Because everyone has been coming for such a long time, everyone's progressing at the same rate. And just this morning, I was saying to one of the ladies there, she said, I don't seem to be getting any fitter. And I said, hang on, stop, whoa. Remember back to when you started. Remember back. And she went, oh my gosh, it wasn't that long ago. It was a couple of months ago. But I think we all, I don't know about you, maybe I'm generalizing, as women forget where we started. And we just expect that we should be there. I don't know. What do you think about that? One of the other things I want to share this week is we had our masterclass inside our membership on how to tame tummy troubles for the trail. It was probably our second most watched masterclass that we have had, which says to me that as women, we all have some concerns around grumpy tummies, whether that be diarrhea or whether that be constipation. And here at Women's Fitness Adventures, we're not afraid to ask those questions so that you don't have to. We take the concern or the potential embarrassment that you may or may not have around asking that question, we take it out and we just put it right out there front and center. And so if you didn't watch that masterclass live, then make sure that you jump into the member resources and watch that. But I do know that, as we get older, we may tend to eat the same foods all the time. So when we go away, we travel, we get on a plane, whatever it might be, we check that variation in our diet. Can cause a tiny little thing, or we drink filtered water at home all the time and all of a sudden we're drinking water from a tap. That might have something to do with it. Or we're not, as we learnt in the masterclass, we're not having a fiber. But the big one that I took out of it was that we're not actually eating enough food. And if I had $1 for everyone who said, yay, I can eat pasta, rice and potatoes again, I'd be a rich woman. So have a think about, that in the context of you as well. And when you come back to that very first question that I had, what's the difference between Women's Fitness Adventures and others, is that we give you all of those tools. So it's by osmosis. If you hang around us long enough, you'll start talking the same language. And that's what happened with our Couch to Mountain girls, not knowing, a pole from a boot, from a hill repeat, from any of that. And then after a couple of months, it becomes in the vernacular. So that's the difference, is that we teach you to fish. And when you've learnt to fish, you can feed yourself for life. The funny food analogy with the tummy troubles. Whereas if we didn't, my ethos is that if I can teach you and impart all of the skills that Jane, Tricia and I have, and all of the skills that we learn from each and every one of our members, that makes you a rounded hiker, and in turn, whatever parts spill over to your life, then the world's your oyster. Someone says, let's go hiking to Highland Way in Scotland, or let's go to Peru, wherever it might be. You have those skills, you have that arsenal in your bag to be able to jump up and go, hey, I know what to do. I feel confident. I feel I've got great balance. I've got the skills. I've got the fitness. I know my limits. I know where I'm at. Yes, I can do this. Or no, I'm not. It's not the right time, but at least you have those choices available to you. So everyone's been pretty quiet for a while, and I feel like I've been rabbiting on. Is this resonating with anyone? Do you have any questions about that? Have I covered what I set out to, which was, the things that have come across my desk this week. Never done this before. Can I do it? Am I fit enough is the biggest question. Will I be last is the biggest question. What's the difference between Women's Fitness Adventures, our ethos, and others out there, whether that be other groups or whether that be other businesses out there? The difference is that we care about you. I often, when we have a Christmas party, I'm often crying at beautiful stories of our members. And I know, Janine, we chatted yesterday, and it's more than just hiking and women connecting. It's more than that. And that accountability and transformation. And one of the ladies I was chatting to about the Couch to Mountain program, when I told her she had a place, she said she started crying. You know who you are if you're watching. And said, "You've changed my life," which of course started me crying. And we've just started on the journey. The Couch to Mountain program kicks off in early May. And, when you hear that coming back at you, you know that there's impact there. You know that what you do makes a difference. And I wanted to share that because I'm not particularly good at talking about the good things, the impact that we have at Women's Fitness Adventures. But I really wanted to share that because that makes such a huge difference to everyone. So let me just check in here. Sharon, really good point. I'm nearly always last, but I'm there and I'm happy. And this whole last thing exists in our head because we don't want to be the last person. And I can reassure you and go, it doesn't matter because I'm normally at the back. And being, Yvonne Shepherd, I like to look after my flock and see everyone ahead of me. But, it's something that we need to process in our hiker's mindset about being last, because the trail isn't wide enough for everyone to walk alongside. And I think the very fact that you're doing it, regardless of where you're at in the order, is more important than anything else, because there's so many people not doing it. There's so many people sitting on the couch. There's so many people our age who aren't taking responsibility for self, who are just assigning responsibility over to someone else. And it's when we take responsibility for ourselves that this wonderful world opens. So let me check. And Janine, absolutely so true, Yvonne. Yeah, and it was when we were chatting yesterday, Janine, about what the Women's Fitness Adventures community was, and you said it was more than just hiking and showing up. There was so much more depth and so many complex layers of what it means as individuals. Andrea says, my small step was actually signing up to Women's Fitness Adventures instead of watching secretly from the sidelines. And I am so excited about that. I was chatting to someone else the other day who's been watching us for 5 years. 5 years. And Andrea, I'd be keen to know, what was it that actually, if you sat and watched, and I do ask this question, why people watch from the sidelines? And what was it that made you go, no, I'm in this time? I'd really be keen if you want to jot that below. That'd be great. And Karen says the same. Karen, okay, how long were you watching from the sidelines? I know Andrea was a long time. Karen, how long were you? Because I didn't know that. Therese says, just coming back from my physio appointment, and he made me look back to where I was just 2 weeks ago. And I know Therese had a broken leg. I have a goal, go on another hike when I can. Won't care if I'm last. Absolutely. And you know what? I love that because when we can, and if we can make the most of the opportunity when we can, and goodness me, the last 2 years has been crazy. So much was taken away from us. And if we think the thing that is holding us back is that I'll be last or I'll be the slowest, we have to get over that, because we're just going to miss out on so much wonderful, beautiful life. Absolutely. And Therese, thank you so much, because I think that's a magnificent post. Cindy says, more than just hiking, Women's Fitness Adventures is about whole health and self-esteem. Walking, hiking is a platform for whole of life health. Absolutely. And Cindy, we have lots and lots of you and I discussions about this. And, sometimes you look back in your life and something is a catalyst for one thing. And doing one particular thing is a catalyst for just a whole beautiful change. And I think that's really important, that whole of life health. Alison says, interestingly, I've just finished reading a book called Atomic Habits. Yes, James Clear. It's an amazing book which talks about something very similar. You don't need to think big, and the importance of hundreds of small decisions compound that can make those dramatic positive changes. Absolutely. And if that Netflix show, A Million Little Things, is fabulous. You'll get hooked though. Great soundtrack. But in that Atomic Habits as well, the small compounding decisions, it's small compounding habits as well. So even though I missed the core challenge today, there'll be the day 5 tomorrow, that if we can compound that cleaning our teeth with standing on one leg for balance, we've instilled another habit. But compounding fitness is this consistency of showing up day after day or day after second day, because you can't get fitness doing it 1 week a year. You can't get fitness thinking one day, because everybody knows one day never comes. This is a bit of a tough love session coming in here to you tonight as well. Mandy says, we don't need to wait for all the ducks to line up. Just one is perfect. Small steps. Absolutely. And if I had it coming back to me, how many people liked the duck thing? Yeah, I'd have $1 for, every comment that's come back about the ducks, that we don't have to have those ducks lined up in a row, which I learned from a conference a couple of weeks ago. One duck is enough. And you can pull that duck into line, because if you wait for everything to be perfect, it will never be perfect. Does it have to be perfect? Life's not perfect. Life is messy. Life is confusing. Life is sometimes hard. But I know personally that the fitter I have become, the more I am. The decisions are still hard. Like, things life throws at you are very hard sometimes. But the fitter I have become in myself, physically fit, gets me mentally fit, helps me deal with some of these challenges a little bit easier. I'm better able to manage myself when some of these big life challenges come along. Rosalind says, the 5 kilometre for 5 day challenge was my catalyst, and never regretted my membership to Women's Fitness Adventures. And Rosalind, your anniversary, quite a few of you, your 1 year anniversary is coming up in May, and we'll be reaching out to you because we want to do a check-in. Where are you now? What's happened to you? And how has your life changed over the past 12 months? And I think that was Sue's, I can't see Sue's on here. That was her idea, is let's have a 5K for 5 days reunion and see where everybody's at. So thank you for sharing that, Rosalind. And Sharon says just one duck idea is enough, and it's so exciting for me. Absolutely. The Women's Fitness Adventures community, all of you, the beautiful women, I notice no non-members are commenting. If you're a non-member, please comment. Will help us line up all the ducks, that support, that lack of judgment. Just pull the ducks into line, just grab them, rather than wait for them to swim by. Brodwin says, for me too, it was something achievable. I saw that post at just the right time. Yep. But a lot of people would have seen the post and let it slip on by. Being open to changes and possibilities. It's really, really exciting. Hi, Cherie. A little bit late. That's okay. You can go back and watch it on replay. Rosalind says, happy to answer my questions on. Absolutely, Rosalind. I will be in contact with you this week on that one. So here's Andrea's question. Andrea, has watched from the sidelines for quite a while, and I asked her why, and here's what she says. I don't know what to say. I was getting bored with my gym. My kids were more independent. I finally had some free time, and I felt life slipping away. I decided being afraid to take a small step away from my comfort zone was a waste of my life. I have been watching for many years. You have been indeed. And the 5Ks for 5 days was something I felt I could do without getting too deeply involved. And I was lonely and looking for friendship. And so, Andrea, what happened after that? So you did the 5K for 5 days and you didn't have to get deeply involved. That was purely, a free challenge, 5 days, 5 kilometers a day. But what happened after that? Because you did actually join. If you say that comment, I didn't want to get involved too deeply. And then all of a sudden, here you are, almost 12 years later. What was it that triggered you to go, okay, well, maybe there's more. Maybe I'm looking for more, needing more, wanting more, giving more. What was it? I'd love to crack that code of what it actually is that, when we sit and watch something for a long time and then finally it's a catalyst for change. But that's something amazing. So I think I've been talking for quite a while. I've loved having this wonderful input from all of you. The Couch to Mountain program, as I said, applications are open. I'm just going to jump into Karen's thing before I go on. Karen says, it wasn't a long time watching from the sidelines, but I've watched other groups for a long time and never joined. I felt differently about women's fitness adventures. I knew it was a supportive group. Knowing the group was pelvic floor friendly tipped me over the edge. Oh, that's awesome, Karen. And the 5K for 5 days was my starting point too. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing, the other question that came up during the week was when I was chatting with someone about Couch to Mountain and they had done some hikes with general groups out there, is that we understood women's bodies, women over 50. We understood women's bodies. I'm a certified personal trainer and certified pelvic floor trainer as well. But to understand women's bodies and what women's bodies do on a hike and why, having when you get a backpack, having a wide hip strap is more appropriate than having a narrow one, and why putting it on your hips instead of around your waist, why when we do our sit-ups we never get on the ground, why we never do a squat wide-legged, all those sorts of things. So thank you for sharing that, Karen. So this coming, it's almost April. Coming up in April, we have our masterclass on bone health, which I'm very excited about. We'll put the dates out this week, all the things that are important around bone health. So we're moving through all the body parts. And we also have a stadium stomp. So we have our ambassador program starting in South Australia, and we'll be sending information out about this in the coming week. Mandy in South Australia is running Stadium Stomp. So if you are in South Australia on April 10 and register this week, there's a beautiful purple Women's Fitness Adventures t-shirt coming your way if you register by this week. Same for Brisbane. If you register for the May 1st one by the end of this week, there's a beautiful Women's Fitness Adventures t-shirt coming your way. Unfortunately, there's no stomp in any other states at the moment, but we're keeping an eye out. So when there is, we'll certainly be there. What else is happening? Book club, the final book club. No, not final, but we've got some new books lined up as well. We have our functional fitness. Remember, this week I was supposed to be away and I'm not, so it is on again this week. Just lots and lots of amazing stuff happening inside the membership. And if you're interested in joining, if you're not watching, then just go to the website and become a member is on the top there. So let me just check in with the last couple here. And Cherie, who we've only just got to know, even though has been a member for a while, was stuck across borders. The support and encouragement from the group is amazing. Yep. But you know what, guys? And you're all giving us kudos. And I know I don't talk about the great things we do enough, because I know some of you have given it back to me. We're the best kept secret on the internet. Is that as much as we give, you guys give it all back. You're so giving and you're so supportive of each other. And I think that's what makes the difference. And it came back to me last week in an interview on Couch to Mountain that there's no judgment. We're from all different walks of life, and we're in that 25-year span of somewhere in our 50s to somewhere in our late 70s, and that we have a lot in common in terms of our values and ethos and stuff, but our backgrounds are so different. But there's never any judgment. It's only support and that willingness for every single person to be successful at whatever level that they step into. And that's testament to you guys. We're just providing the bucket for it to be done in. Let me see. Mandy says, agree, fitness for us at any level, absolutely. And Andrea, coming back to that, because I managed that initial challenge without too much pain and my family was super supportive, I simply went on to every challenge after that. Now I participate in every challenge and feel more capable and courageous. And 2/3 of the way through the Welcome to Hiking, and no one is ignoring me. Absolutely. And that's just such a beautiful, beautiful journey that you're on as well, Andrea. And like you said before, we can hide away and watch life go by, or we can step into our life as well, and amazing things start to come from that. And we don't all have to be extroverted, and we don't all have to be out there. We can be ourselves and, participate at any level. So thank you so much for sharing that. So that is it from me for Monday Night Live. Back next week, goodness me, the end of March next week, the end of daylight savings. So please check our website for different times on the website. As I briefly mentioned last week, I'm just going to drop these little gems in here this week. The website will soon be changing over and looking like something pretty different, but still easy to navigate. Not going to confuse you there. We've got our ambassador program trialing in South Australia, which is very, very exciting. And we are, as I said, taking applications for Couch to Mountain for 2022. You've got about 2 weeks left for that to apply. The 100K Adventure Ready program, which is the same as Couch to Mountain, that 6 to 7 months of full access to Jane and I, and teaching and training you in every aspect of hiking and an adventure. The 100K adventure actually happens in March, but the program starts in May. That will be coming out soon. And then, of course, as I just alluded to very so slightly last week, a standalone 12-week online training course that you can participate in from wherever you live in the world. So that's it from me. Happy week. Just going to share this one. And Cherie says there definitely isn't any judgment. Some of the girls on the walks are 20 years my junior. So fitness at any age and any level. Thank you, Kate. Thank you for joining in from Gosford in New South Wales. So that's it from me. Have a great week. Stay safe. Stay well. Think great thoughts, because then great thoughts will happen to you. And keep commenting. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you next week. Bye.